Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is Wednesday, May 20th. Let's get started. All right. So first, I just want to recap in case for some reason you didn't see the video on Monday. Just real quick. If you forget, there is this extra credit assignments down here. There are 5 assignments you may choose from. Do as few or as many or none if you like, to help improve your grade for the fourth marking period. We've only got a couple weeks left. Yeah, 1 week left after this, I think. All right. So okay. Where are we here? All right. Week of May 18th. Wednesday, 5:20, we're going to be learning about a very sad day, but a very interesting day in Roman history, when Mount Vesuvius erupted, okay, and destroyed the entire city of Pompeii. All right. You see we have 1, 2, 3 videos here. This last one I'm not going to make you watch, but I think the other 2 you definitely should watch, A Day in Pompeii and the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. If you click these, the first one is A Day in Pompeii, and it kind of shows you exactly what happens. Actually, let's read about it before I show you the videos. So if you want to go to, where are we at? Unit 4, Chapter 11, Lesson 1.6, Pompeii. All right? We'll explain this picture of a person frozen in stone in a moment, but we're going to talk about a very famous volcanic eruption that happened in about 79 AD and completely trapped a city underneath it and preserved it, which is kind of like a historian and archaeologist's dream, that they get to go back and they get to see this place frozen in time. All right, so we'll actually come back to these videos in a minute, but let's open up the questions. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty simple day today. All right. I got a nice long weekend coming up. No school Friday, no school Monday. Trying to get you out of here on a good note. All right. So let's take a look at Pompeii. Excuse me. All right. As dawn broke on August 24th, 79 AD, the citizens of Pompeii rolled out of bed and dressed for another day. Around noon, a dog was chained to a post, a crate of new pottery waited to be unpacked, and a kettle was filled with water. Then disaster struck. Within days, the whole city became a living history, entombed in ash for 1,900 years. Okay, so this happened almost about 2,000 years ago. All right, disaster strikes. Pompeii was an average city resting in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius. Okay, Mount Vesuvius, a volcano on Italy's western coast. The paved streets of the city followed an orderly pattern, and the citizens there had all civic comforts expected. It was actually like a richer city. Pompeii was very nice. Some 20,000 people worked, played, ate, slept, and lived within Pompeii's city walls until the afternoon of August 24th, 79 AD. The Roman writer Pliny the Younger was near Pompeii that day. He had once described the city as one of the loveliest places on earth. After the events that occurred in Pompeii, he described a nightmare. A violent explosion brought the city to a standstill. Pliny watched in horror as Mount Vesuvius erupted, shooting gas mixed with rock and ash high into the sky, creating an immense black cloud that blocked out the sun. Panic-stricken citizens fled as ash rained down. As lava crept towards the city, fires raged and buildings collapsed. A vast volcanic ash cloud swept in to suffocate the city, burying its people and their possessions nearly 25 feet deep. A cloud of poisonous gas overtook and killed A cloud of poisonous gas overtook and killed anyone who had not yet escaped. Over the next few days, lightning, earthquakes, and tidal waves followed. Finally, after 3 days, Vesuvius went quiet, as silent as the deserted city of Pompeii. All right, so let's take a look at some of these videos I had. I'll come back real quick. If you click the first video, A Day in Pompeii, this will come up. Okay, so watch this. It's 8 minutes, but you can kind of skip through it a little bit. It kind of shows you 8 a.m. what Pompeii would look like. There you see Mount Vesuvius in the background. Okay, very beautiful city. Okay, you can see these. Oh, look at that, there's a bird. You can see these beautiful villas. Okay, in the countryside. You kind of see everything starting to shake a little bit. Okay, that volcano's acting up a little bit. All right. 1 p.m., okay, right afternoon, right when you can start to see some of the smoke start erupting out of this volcano. All right, here comes a big black plume of smoke, okay? You can see the shaking of the earth. All right, and as you go through, it kind of shows you as the day goes on, you can see all the ash covering everything, what this would have looked like. Horrifying, when the earth starts fighting back against you. I don't know if you've ever felt an earthquake, but it's terrifying. So this would have been like 5 million times bigger than, any earthquake. Okay? Now you can see as the lava's creeping down, the lightning, it's catching buildings on fire because of how hot lava is. Anything it touches will burst into flames immediately or melt it. Okay? So you see the city start to crumble. Alright, so kind of why it's really cool. I'm just kind of flipping through it. You can see as it goes on. Buildings are falling, what it would kind of look like, so on and so forth. Okay? The next video. So these first two I definitely want you to watch. There was a movie that came out a few years ago called Pompeii, and this one here, the second video, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, is kind of a giant scene from that. So this is from a movie a couple years ago. You can see they're painting here. You see all those villas that you learned about on Monday. Okay, these beautiful square country homes. Okay, you see Mount Vesuvius in the background. Okay, so it was located right on the water. So when you heard about tidal waves coming in, that would have been the water from the Adriatic Sea. Okay, you see just that fire and lava and smoke and clouds and dust and dirt and stone and rock and all that stuff shooting into the sky. Okay. I'm just going to kind of skip through and you can see these fireballs. That's kind of the Hollywood effect, the fireballs flying out of there. But it's true. I mean, it would shoot very hot molten lava and things like that out of here. Terrifying thing. Okay. You can kind of flip through and check that out if you'd like. Look, you can see the tidal wave coming up here. Look at that. Okay, coming in and crashing the harbor, crashing the town of Pompeii. All right, so feel free to watch those if you'd like. I encourage you to watch those. All right, so after all this happened, after all this lava comes down, okay, it buries the city 25 feet deep in just preserved lava and ash and stone, okay? So when all that lava cools off, it dries, and everything kind of stayed where it was, which is why you see a person, as creepy as it is, frozen like that, okay? They were covered in lava, and then after years and years and years and years, they're discovered. Okay? So a city preserved. The volcanic ash that buried Pompeii also helped preserve its contents. The city's ruins were first discovered in the late 1500s, so not till 1500 years later did people even discover Pompeii after this happened. It was trapped so far underneath all this lava and dirt and dust, and it was destroyed, everything around it for so long that people didn't discover it for 1500 years. By 1861, archaeologists began carefully uncovering and working to protect their extraordinary find. Removing the ash, the scientists found houses, shops, and public buildings that contained mosaics, frescoes, and even graffiti. Many of the items had obviously been abandoned suddenly in the first moments of the eruption. Okay, when everything starts shaking and blowing up, people are just, they just get out of there. They leave everything behind. These artifacts offer a revealing glimpse into everyday Roman life. Okay, so this is important. Okay, the fact that these things are left there untouched and preserved for so long, we get to look at these artifacts from 2,000 years ago that are almost perfectly preserved, which is very difficult to find. Okay, we don't have lots of these. The ash-preserved items, such as leather shoes, wooden furniture, food, and a library of scrolls. The ash also preserved some of its victims. It hardened around the bodies. Over time, the bodies decayed, which means they broke down and kind of turned into dust. And they left behind an empty space. By pouring plaster into these spaces, archaeologists create exact casts of people, animals, and plants at the moment of their death. All the discoveries are moving reminders of how suddenly death came to the city of Pompeii and froze it in time under a blanket of ash. Okay? So things that were left behind that we actually have discovered are leather shoes, wooden furniture, food, and library scrolls. Okay? But you're going to see that some of these people that you see remaining, okay, these ones right here aren't actual people. What happens is, as the lava came down, it forms around you. So there's like, you're inside, like there's a mold made of you inside of this. Like imagine if you're like laying in bed, right? Okay, and you're laying in bed, you might sink to the middle, and then you get out of bed, and that, it still might be sunk in the middle there. Okay, so it still leaves a space even though the body has left. So just like this, when all the lava and dust and dirt came down and preserved the people, over time the body breaks down. But that mold that you left, they filled it in with this plaster, okay, which then hardens and it makes these like statues. Okay, so we can actually look. We'll do Pompeii people. Okay. So you can actually kind of look at some of these plaster casts that have been left behind. Okay, of all these people, look at them just right where they were when they died. It's creepy, but it's very fascinating when you look at these. Okay, it's an extraordinary look back into just look at these, how terrifying it would have been. You're just frozen in time. Okay, all right. So this one is actually a person. But the other ones that you've seen, or if you Google them, they're plaster casts of the mold that was left behind by the person. All right. You got a few questions today. Let's check these out. This last video that we have here, this is like a 10-minute video, and if you just kind of go through this, it kind of shows you how the volcanic eruption turned people into stone. So it's kind of the whole thing that happens, how volcanoes work. There's an ad there. I don't feel like watching it. I'm running out of time. But check it out. Pretty cool. All right, where are we at here? All right, number one. What was the name of the volcano that erupted and destroyed Pompeii? All right, come right over here. Okay, Mount Vesuvius. Okay, it even tells you a little bit about Mount Vesuvius today over here if you want to read this little part right there. Okay, but what's the name of the mountain the name of the volcanic mountain that destroyed Pompeii? Number two, I just talked about this. Okay, what items in Pompeii were preserved after the eruption? Come over here to a city preserved, especially right here. Okay, look in these two paragraphs. What are some of the items in Pompeii that were preserved after the eruption? Don't just say people. What were some of the items also? Number three, I want to know what was the order of events that occurred in Pompeii on August 24th, 79 AD? Okay, tell me what happened. Okay, this happened, then this, then this, then this. The first video that you watched will kind of show you that, and you can kind of describe what you're seeing in the video, or you can come to this second column right here. Okay, start off with a violent explosion brought the city to a stop. Okay, so you can say that the volcano exploded. Then this started to happen. Then this started to happen. And then finally this happened. Okay, so kind of break it down into 4 or 5 steps what happened on that day, August 24th, 79 AD. Number 4, how were the ruins of Pompeii able to be preserved so well? This is where that third video might come in handy to help you and explain to you how these things were preserved so well. But also, if you kind of just read, again, these last 2 paragraphs, specifically this one, it explains to you how the dust and ash and lava preserve an item or a person. And then finally, kind of explain to me why this is important. How I told you in the beginning of the video that this is like what a historian loves. Number 5, why is discovering a well-preserved city that's hundreds of years old so important to archaeologists and historians? What can they learn from this? How does this preserved city help historians learn? All right, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions.